George, Premier African Minerals. You must walk much faster, otherwise your time's up. I'm worried about it. Are you waiting for... Are we starting with... Are you ready?
I'm ready. He's not ready.
Are you playing a video? Thank you. Please.
Thank you. When I stand here and I think to myself that in September last year, I was standing in the bush. Today, it's a plant. It's a substantial plant that's going to produce substantial amounts of spodumene and is going to generate substantial amounts of revenue. And it's come in 6 months. You're not supposed to do things like this in the mining industry these days. I don't know whether I should be terrified of this or proud of this or quite which way I should think about it. I just know that the number of people, this huge number of people who've contributed so much to turning this piece of bush into that plant and this mine, they all deserve to be lauded. And really, it's a statement for the community, a statement for everybody, a statement for the country, and a statement for the company too. So, guys, as I stand here today, and I'm not quite sure which one's going to move this on. Oh, there we go. I remain unsure as to whether I should be terrified of it or proud of it. Without really trying to be funny, it's an accomplishment that I think is outstanding, and it's a tribute to everybody who was involved in it, from the design in the early stages through to the prepayment, through to the people in Zimbabwe and so on. Just a quick background on Premier African Minerals. We're London AIM listed. We have projects primarily in the SADC region, although we have interests in a project in Ethiopia still. We've had interests in other parts of West Africa, but primarily today Zimbabwe. We have a couple of projects in Zimbabwe. Zulu Lithium would be the second mine that we have built. We have an interest in the manganese operation in Namibia as well. We have some other exploration licenses in Mozambique, some others in Zimbabwe and elsewhere as well. So our key projects primarily are Zulu, our RHA tungsten operation that we'll bring back into operation, Ochizondu manganese in Namibia. Who we are, just ever so quickly, we don't really need to go into too much on this. The only thing I want to dwell on is the fact that our general manager in Zulu Lithium, Mr. Jabulani Shirasha, leads a team that is 100% Zimbabwean. There is not one single expat involved in that mine, not one. From the geologists through to the mining engineers, through to everybody. As I said, we're listed on London AIM. We've been an interesting company. We are sitting today with a market capitalization of about £185 million. So we've certainly moved up from where we were a matter of 3 or 4 years ago. In fact, I think we went from about £4.5 million up to about £185 million in very short order. And a lot of that is on the back of what we've been able to do with the Zulu Lithium project. I just want to dwell on this one here. We spoke about risk, and there's been a lot of talk about risk. And the junior mining sector is a very difficult one, and I've found it over the years very difficult in many ways. It's fine to have a project. It's another thing to be able to finance it. The costs associated with going through a traditional route are inordinate. The costs of going through an entire detailed DFS, the normal validation processes, finding the finance, etc., etc., etc. We all know it. It becomes very, very difficult. So in the case of Zulu, we were faced with a unique set of circumstances. First of all, we had a deposit. We had a very good idea of what was there. We've had some excellent guidance and assistance from various different places in terms of the mineral assemblage within this deposit. And in these LCT pegmatites, that's probably one of the most important things. If you're not sitting with a mineral assemblage that can work and an ability to actually get a decent recovery, you're in trouble before you even start. So we had a very good understanding of that. There was incredible demand for the product. Spodumene prices were going through the roof, although I must say what gets reported and what's real are not necessarily the same kind of thing.
You're not quite getting those spot prices.
No, you don't get spot prices, but the contract prices are very good. And I was in a meeting this morning just on that one. And the spot price on the contract price on spodumene is probably running at around about $3,800 to $4,000 at the moment. And a lot of the contracts that are being done, I'm just going to dwell on this for a moment, a lot of the contracts that are being done are not necessarily being done on the straight sale of a spodumene contract. The longer and better term contracts are being done on profit share kind of thing related to the sale of hydroxide and so on. And those are the longer term kinds of deals that I think are going to be sustainable and will stand. And it is certainly where we are in terms of Prem and the Zulu project. So, as I was saying, some of these fundamentals were in place. There was this incredible demand. We knew where we were with the deposit. We were comfortable that we could adequately build something if we had the money to do it. And we set about trying to create an innovative process and flow sheet associated with this. We worked closely with a company called Stark Resources. I'll have a discount for that one from them, wherever they are. We worked very closely with them, and we came up with a process and a flow sheet that is a little different. I'll go into a bit more detail about it later.
And you've got exactly 2 minutes left for that. No, you see the timer.
The one that stopped.
No, the one that isn't stopping. The one that didn't stop whilst you played your corporate video. So
that was only 2 minutes. Okay.
So just keep an eye on the time.
I'm gonna move on very, very quickly from this then. Let me just say that we felt that with the availability of money that was made available from an off-taker on the basis of a prepayment for purchase of concentrate, there was sufficient money made available for us to build the plant and develop the mine. It was as simple as that. And that agreement was put in place in the latter part of last year. I think the orders to build this plant only went in the latter part of last year. We started civils in December, January, in the middle of the wet season. I mean, that's how dramatic this was. A couple of photographs, I'm skipping through them. I don't think I need to go into market outlook. We know where we are on that. Geology, this presentation will be available. And again, I'm not going to dwell on the geology, other than to say it's pretty classic LCT pegmatites. They're steeply dipping. There's a series of them. They are predominantly spodumene dominated. The mineral assemblage shows us around about 83% spodumene and 17% lepidolite. Our circuit, I'm moving on ever so quickly. I'm not going through that. It's available. Geology, it's there. Here we go. 83% spodumene, 17% lepidolite. There are tantalum byproducts. We will pick up those as well as we go. So just quickly in terms of the plant, as I said, it was a modular approach we took to the plant. The front-end crushers are large capacity but mobile. We then used a series of sorters. We put in XRT sorting to strip out waste material that is not pegmatite, although with hindsight, I must say the definition of the pegmatite ore body in mining is so distinct that my geologists keep on telling me even the mining engineers can deal with it.
I'll take that.
Yeah, okay. And then secondary sorting is UV, and this is the first time UV is going to be used in identifying higher grade spodumene areas within the pegmatite. The UV response is not to spodumene. The UV, can we switch that red thing off there?
No,
that thing that says time's up.
You're going to disappear through the floor in another minute.
Okay. So there's UV sorting to help upgrade. That's generally the flow sheet, ore preparation, sensor-based stockpile, dry milling and screening, desliming, mag sep, microflotation first to take out the lepidolites, spodumene flotation, concentrate handling.
Where is the UV in that step? Just quickly, sorry if you don't mind.
Yeah, I'll come on to, let me just go on to here, and there we go.
Yeah, thank you.
So in this, we've got primary sorting. The primary sorters are XRT. The secondary sorters are UV. Accepts go through to the milling circuit, etc., etc. Okay, so just ever so that's that one there. That's the plant. I've covered that in very quick detail.
So
I'm going to skip on.
The one question I
Sure.
want to put you from the audience is your production target. So by when are you producing how much?
We are already producing spodumene.
Yeah.
We're in a ramp up phase at the moment. I think it's going to take us another several months before we get to the targets. The preliminary target is 4,000 tonne a month of spodumene. We believe that that will extend in the early part of next year to approximately 6,000. The flow sheet is stockpiling -8 mil material separately, and we're looking to put in a separate flotation circuit to deal with that. So probably take it to 10,000 tonne a month of spodumene in fairly short order.
I'm throwing him off the stage. He wants to talk more. George,
I'd love
I really
to.
have to say on behalf of the audience, thank you for bringing quite an exciting story and a hell of a lot of personal excitement from you to the stage. Thank you very much.